Indigenous Rights Radio, because knowledge is power.
The 2024 Indigenous Media Conference, organized by Indigenous Journalists Association, took place from July 25 to 27 in Oklahoma City, United States. The event brought together Indigenous journalists, media professionals, and experts from around the world to discuss and address the pressing issues faced by Indigenous media practitioners. The conference also provided an opportunity to celebrate their contributions and achievements. Cultural survival was also present at this landmark event and asked Indigenous journalists to share their experiences, challenges, and successes in covering Indigenous communities and their efforts in collaborating for Indigenous rights.
Kia ora, my name is Blake Ihimaera. I'm Indigenous to New Zealand. I'm Māori. I come from the Ngāpuhi, Te Rarawa and Ngāi Tahu tribes. Some of the challenges, I guess, our Indigenous Māori are facing, I think worldwide we're in solidarity. It's the same issues, whether it be poverty, whether it be over-policing. My thing is really asking the question of where did it stem from? And I guess that for me at the core is the power of media, being able to articulate and portray yourself on screen. And those challenges is really important to make sure that you feel validated and you can see yourself on screen is a really important thing. I guess otherwise we're always in partnership with someone else controlling what we do. So at Whakaata Maori, Māori Television, where I work, and I'm the Director of News and Current Affairs there, we're a state-wide Indigenous channel or network. We're not tribal. That's the local part of it. We have access to the tribes. We still have to collaborate with the different tribes around New Zealand, but we sit at a more national level. And although, again, the conversation is the same, we're significantly underfunded in terms of I guess, comparison with our mainstream counterparts. It's not equitable. Is it sustainable? No, we get way less than everybody else. But that doesn't take away from how important it is to have our own channel, because they're in control, because we get to determine what the decisions are ourselves, what we want to do ourselves. So I think that that's really important for any Indigenous community or peoples to kind of advocate for. You know, I think that throughout time, it's a common story, right? It doesn't matter which country you kind of go to. Mainstream media, sometimes it's not intentional, but it comes across that way. That I think at its core, journalism is about the access you have to the communities that you know. And so when I don't see myself either reporting, producing or directing or being the director of news in other agencies, then of course they're going to, ask their friends what's happening around the world. They're having access to their communities. Their communities don't look like you and I, and that's the problem, right? So I think there are sometimes really good intention. I think, though, what's really important is to appreciate and respect that there's another people in your land, actually the people that were here first, and they do things super differently to the way that we do things. So constantly questioning, I guess, the intention of the story and the way that you gather that story is what differentiates us from our mainstream partners. I think the power hasn't been fully explored with partnering with other Indigenous media outlets, but a global sort of outreach network or whatever it might be, we could essentially have the same power. We could balance it out if we wanted to do that. I think we can collaborate when the story is the right one to tell, be it forest degradation, be it seabed mining, whatever the story might be, there is an avenue and a way that you cover it specifically for your community and a way I would cover it for mine. But together it makes for a much deeper and much greater story. So I feel like it is the answer when we don't have much. If we collaborate, there's a quotes in Māori that says, mā taku raurou, mā tō raurou, ka ora te iwi. So with my basket of food and your basket of food, our tribe will thrive. So it only takes in collaboration that we can actually feed everybody, and making sure that those traditional sort of things that we know are used in 2024, I think is really important. So I think anything Indigenous-led, good thing for everybody. Ask Indigenous people first, because more than most, what's good for Indigenous is going to be good for everybody. So action that. That's my advice. Listen to Indigenous people.
For more information on Indigenous rights, visit ces.org/rights, and also follow us on Twitter, Instagram, Threads, and Facebook.